Welcome to the dev stream. Hello, keeping track of this act. Thank you for dropping by. Okay, today we have an interior that we're working on, and pretty excited to work on it. I was doing a little bit of work on the broom earlier today, and I have not yet looked at it. So, let me take a look at it. Do I not have Unity open? What? How is that even possible? Because I was just doing animation. I never looked at a single thing. Okay, so I'll open Unity. Oh, sorry guys. Okay, hopefully the voice is better now. Man, OBS, it's just, maybe it's not OBS. Maybe it's my camera drivers or something, but keeps turning on that mic. I've got to remember to do like 10 things before I jump in here. Nar, hello, welcome. Liam, hello and welcome. All right. Werbus, hello, hello. One Bakba, welcome back. Coffee and something else, hello and welcome. All right, Unity will probably take a hot minute here to open. Once I do get it open, I'm going to take a look at that updated broom animation. Hopefully that's looking a little bit better. I've also fixed a bug with the freckles. I'm so surprised at how many people reported that one. People really care about how their character looks. I'm not someone who really notices those things, which is why we've had that bug for quite a while. Jacqueline did notice it the other day. I guess your player character always has freckles in the front view, regardless if you chose freckles or not. They're very light, but people care how they look, which is good. Saravati, hello, welcome back. Okay. So let me get, first of all, let me see what version we have here. Actually, am I even going to kick a version right now? No, I'm probably not going to kick a build today, so I don't need to update the version number. Sometimes I update the version number too hastily, and then when I end up kicking the actual build, I update it again, and we kind of skip a version number. Version numbers don't grow on trees. You gotta hold on to those. Not really. But let's go ahead and open GameCore. And that will take a minute to open, and then I need to put in exterior worlds. Actually, I'll put in main first. Oh, she's got her broom. Okay, so I already see a problem. I already probably need to re-export. Because her broom is already showing, and that's a problem. Go exterior world. I think the broom's going to look a lot better once Jacqueline updates the animation. I'm realizing I'm like roasting alive in this long sleeve shirt. I need to put on something less hot. I'll think about this question, Nick. My preferred IDE. Okay. My preferred IDE for Unity is Visual Studio, because that's what comes with Unity, and I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. I'm like an IDE idiot. I think it's cool that you can refactor a variable name and that it'll update all the files. Which MonoDevelop had too. I was fine with MonoDevelop. Everyone said MonoDevelop was awful. It was fine for me. I'm not really someone who is smart enough to use really advanced debugging stuff. So yeah, it's all pretty much the same to me. But I've always felt, ever since I started using Unity, I've always felt the coding environment was really good. Like the IntelliSense is really good. It shows you, it does autocomplete for all the code you've written and all the stuff in the engine. I don't know how normal that is, but when I first started learning coding, I was messing around with like Java and Python and stuff, and it did not do that. I'm sure there's a way to get it to do that, but I did not know how to set that up. So it all seemed pretty sweet when I first started using Unity. My plan for today is to work on this interior. Work on, we're working on a really cool room interior. I'll try not to divulge too much about it. Now that we have the demo live, we have so many just fans of the game, I think, maybe popping in the stream because they're curious. Of course, it's a dev stream, so if you really don't want spoilers, you simply can't watch this stream. But I will try not to give too many overt spoilers if I can from now on. Okay, so I'm gonna set us, okay, we're in developer, start settings. I'm just gonna test the new Broom animation that I have. Nick asks, did you learn to code while making eShade, or you? So I like dabbled in code, but so lightly. Like I was just curious. I made like, really dumb text adventures in Python. So I knew what a string was, and maybe I knew what a switch statement was and some very basic stuff. But I had not written like large programs, and I was not a coder, and I still don't really identify as a coder. I'm an artist. I was a industry level 3D artist, professional 3D artist when I started making eShade. So I knew a lot about game dev because I knew art pipelines, and I knew the sort of design pipeline, and I knew, how the process of QA and debugging stuff. And I mean, not that I was debugging code, but I was fixing bugs, like collision bugs and stuff. So I knew a lot about game dev, but I wouldn't call myself a coder. But I learned how to code pretty reasonably well while making eShade, at least well enough to build our games. I'm going to turn my Broom on here just so we can see. Okay, cool. So now we have, so Jacqueline had the feedback that we're a little too, the frequency of the flapping was a little bit too high, and I totally agree. I think it looks a lot better. And we have some better flapping from the back, which actually looks pretty cool, especially with the lower frame rate. I think it actually helped it a lot. And then flying down looks a little glitchy still because we have that very quick high frequency flapping, which I see what she means now. She was saying it almost looks like a bug. It's like, and I agree with that. The larger lower frequency flapping looks a lot better. So we'll do that in the front view. And then she also mentioned that she thinks that we should not deactivate that cloak back, that it'll just be fine. Just put it back there. It looks less weird. So we won't deactivate that, and then we'll take a look at the front view. And then I think this Broom is like, it's good. Like, it turned out really good. Werba says, I'm more of an art person, rock on, fellow artist. So I just skipped coding at all. I mean, that's a good idea. You should do art or code. I think it's crazy to do both. Use visual scripting instead and do not need to remember all the languages. I think probably even if you could team up with a coder, that would be even better. I say that as someone who definitely dove headfirst into coding. And it worked for me, but I don't recommend it for everyone. Can this rig use something like dynamic bones? Yes, this rig is a skeletal animation. Flat by physics, yes, technically it probably could do that. But I think that would be a little bit much. It also would never look right because, I don't know, there's just not a lot of data to go off, right? It's just a really simple 2D rig. There's just a couple bones. So I think they're just going to mostly glitch out. It's pretty easy to animate. Like even if we could do physics, I don't think it would look anywhere near as good as the animation I just made. But I'm a very if you don't have to simulate it, don't simulate it kind of guy. I'm a very like artsy fartsy kind of guy. So I'm going to turn off this attachment in setup view. And okay, so that bug is fixed. That was easy. And now we have to go back to 3/4 view. Yeah, regarding simulating things in real time, don't even get me started on real-time GI. I will give you a freaking sermon on real-time GI. I'm so anti real-time GI. I've got to be the most impassioned person about it on the earth. I just feel so strongly it's such a dumb and wayward path. I mean, for most games, of course, there are some games that that absolutely it's the only thing that they can do if they're like completely dynamically generated, like Minecraft or something. But for most games, it is such a massive waste of resources, and it looks horrible. It's like two bad things. Here's the skirt back, so I'm just going to enable it in the 3/4 view because it was disabled, and now I think we're fine there. Yeah. And then there's the skirt attach. I think we can delete this key because I think it was turning it off for 1 frame, which obviously would be really bad. Yeah. I mean, it is a little weird. Like, what exactly is going on with this? I don't know. But Jacqueline said she thinks it looks... I feel like I'm wondering how the broom is sticking through there, but maybe it's fine. I don't know. We'll see what people say about it, I guess. We'll see if people are like, that's really weird. Yeah, so now let's take a look at that front view, and then I'm hoping we can call this animation done. Catch up a chat real quick. Nick says, how do you handle proper code architecture for ease of use and scale? Well, it really depends on the software you're writing. It's a really big topic, but yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to do it. And there's like a million good ways to do it. It depends on your game. It depends on your brain. It depends on your team size. It depends on the brains of your team, the composition of your team. Yeah. So there's so many different ways to do it. I would never try to say that I know the way to do it. For the most part, we try to keep it kind of simple. We don't like to do anything too crazy. We have pretty normal stuff. A lot of stuff you'd see in Unity. Like we have a game manager. It has static fields. It has a static reference to itself in an instance. Some people hate that. But it's so everyone knows how it works. Like, it's so basic at this point. We try to keep our data pretty well encapsulated. We have a lot of scriptable objects and things. We try to keep our data out of the actual components in the scene. We try to keep them in scriptable objects and prefabs and stuff. And we try not to, just your basic stuff. We try not to have things happening every frame. We try not to pull something every frame. Just try to do like event-based callbacks and stuff. Let me find our uni. There we go. And let's take a look at this animation. So really all this sort of basic stuff. And we've kind of found ways that I think work well for us and the way that we like to author data. I would say that it's really good to think about not the best way to write that. Like, don't think about what it will be like to code in your game. I personally think it's way more important to think about, again, depending on your game, but assuming that you have a game that has a lot of content in it, you have a content-oriented game, I think it's way better to think about the designer's experience. So when you're setting up your data structures, I think it's way better to think about who's going to be doing the markup and setting up all that data and what is going to be the easiest for them, as opposed to what is going to be, the best architecture for coding and adding features and stuff like that. Like, our game is full of NPCs who have schedules. So we cared a lot about what the schedule data looks like and how that's laid out and how we modify it. yeah, then we just kind of go from there. Same, we also have a lot of conversations in our game. So we thought a lot about how we should structure our conversation data and what's going to be really easy and flexible for us to make callbacks to the different systems in our game. Okay. Coffee and something else is asking, what is this? Yeah, this is Spine Pro. Yeah, that's right. Werbus says, I was trying to make use of generative tools, but end up just painting whole levels by hand. Heck yeah, that's the way to do it. That's what we like. Takes forever, but at least it's interesting to explore. Exactly. Are you the only person that codes in the game currently? No. Jenny is the lead programmer. I'm not. I actually don't code very much at all. I'd say Jenny does 90% of the code these days, maybe even more. She's been full time with us for 4 years. So at this point, I don't know what the ratio is. I was working for a couple of years and I was the only programmer before her, but she might have more code in the game than I do at this point. Now, I always struggle with trying to do the thing the right way. This is a big problem. I know it's really normal. It's the most normal thing in the world. When you first start, you always wonder, what is the right way to do it? But there is no right way to do it. I mean, there are definitely dumb ways to do it, and you will probably do it in dumb ways occasionally, but it's much better to dive in and do it the dumb way than be paralyzed by wondering if you're doing it the right way. And I feel like the only way you can really learn why the dumb ways are dumb and the right ways are right by coding. Also, you'll develop your own sense of kind of like style of what you like and how you like to work, and you'll start developing your own opinions on how to do things. Like I'm at the point where I can maybe read someone's opinion on how a game should be coded in terms of like the data layout or whatever, and I might just be like, no, I don't like that, you know. So, but that just comes from working on games and trying to do stuff for many years. So I would just dive in. Just don't even worry about it. Just dive in, just roll the sleeves up and just get to work, and you'll create a monster. But it'll be your monster. And then you can learn from it and move on and make your next monster. Hopefully it'll be a little less monstrous. Blue says, would you consider ever getting the game on Mac OS? No. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not worth it for us. I just feel like we take so long to make a game, and we have so few games left in us before we die. And I just don't want to spend time on stuff like that because it doesn't make us money. It's just not enough users. We did Mac OS for Leaving Lindau, which was our first tiny game, and it was horrible. We lost so much money on it. We spent so much time on it. It was 50% of our bugs. Literally 50% of our bugs were for Mac. For what? I mean, we made like a couple $1,000s from it. It was so stupid. And that's when I decided, what are we doing here? I will never, like, why would I do this? Why should I hate myself like this? So we just don't want to support platforms that are going to suck up all our time and not give us any money. If it's going to be a nightmare to support, at least it better make a crap ton of money for us. I'm so sorry. I know that is probably the last thing you want to hear, but it is the truth. Supporting Mac is like making a money bonfire. It's like going out to the beach, taking a couple $100,000 and just setting it all up in one of those fire pits and just lighting it up and roasting hot dogs on it. And we just can't do that. I'm going to try to get this like more subtle flappage happening with the skirt. Here we go. And I know there might even be, I have not looked at the chat yet, but there might already be someone in the chat that is saying, oh, supporting Mac is actually really easy. And there are people who don't mind porting, like they just like porting. So in their eyes, it's really easy. And in their eyes, it's like, they get 100 bugs from it. It's like, fine. They don't mind fixing bugs. It's okay. And then there are some people who just have never shipped a game before, and they just think that they, from the armchair, everything is easy. Literally everything is easy from the armchair. Like, do you have any idea how easy it is to make an MMORPG from the armchair? Like, I could easily make an MMORPG with every single grain of sand simulated in real time. It would be persistent world. You could have 1 trillion people connected at once. It would have infinite content. It's so easy, from the armchair. Easy cheesy, no problem. What is going on with this? Looks like we forgot a keyframe. Let's bookend this. There we go. And then I'm going to grab all the skirt bones. And then I just want to smooth out their keyframe. So I reduced the frequency while I've been yapping. I reduced the frequency of the skirts yapping here, flapping. There it is. It's much more floaty now. And I think Jacqueline will like that a lot better. It does have this little weird stutter right here where it like kind of goes in and it doesn't flat back out. Oh, no, it actually looks all right. Maybe I shouldn't worry too much about it. Maybe I can just kind of fudge the keys a little bit more to the end so we have less downtime. It kind of like stutters for a second, which I'm not really crazy about. But you know what? I think with the low frame rate, I think it'll look fine. Okay, let me catch up with chat. Now, Werba says, there's no right ways in game dev. Every approach has good and bad ideas. So just pick the method with the biggest pros and proportionally smallest cons. It's a good idea. Or at least, from what you can tell, you just take a guess and go for it. Better be a lucrative nightmare. Exactly. Like the consoles. I hate porting. I absolutely loathe porting. It is quite literally the worst part of my professional life. No, it's the worst part of my life, period. Porting to the consoles is the thing I hate more than anything in the world to do. But it makes us a bunch of money, so got to do it. I try, and that's even with hiring. On eShade, we outsourced it, and I still hated it. Even the bit of work I had to do, I still hated. Agio Studios, hello and welcome back. Blue said, dang, I wanted to play it. Hopefully I can in the future if I get Windows. So can't you play Windows games these days on Mac? How to play Windows games on Mac, right? They have best achieves using compatibility like Whiskey or Crossover. Okay, so I guess I haven't heard of those. Yeah. Okay, so it's not as easy as I thought. I thought there was something like Proton. I know on Linux, we're getting to the point now where just like, I know everyone on Linux wants native support. They're like, give us native support. But like, oh man, like it is pretty easy these days to play a Windows game on Linux, and they pretty much work. Most of them pretty much work. And that feels extra like a money bonfire because it's like getting so easier and easier to play games on Linux without there being an actual Linux build. But it looks like we're not there yet with Mac, so I'm sorry about that. Definitely, porting is a separate specialization, yeah. And each platform is a separate specialization. There are studios who are, just specialize in porting to consoles. I'm sure there are ones who specialize in porting to Mac. Although I don't know who won't be wanting to contract them to pay money for that. There's just such a not very much money in it, unfortunately. Gotcha. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Agio Studio says Unity also supports Mac. From what I know, it is something you can turn on for a project. From what I recall. Oh yeah, you can check the box. Yeah, sure, you can check the box, and it'll kick a build for Mac. But that's not supporting Mac, right? You will have hundreds of things you need to sort out. I mean, it would be a miracle. Maybe if it's like Pong, if you made Pong in Unity and you check the Mac box and kick the build for Mac, maybe it'll work. But if you have an actual game with input and with options and settings and localization and languages and fonts and shaders, all manner of different shaders and sorting orders and and all kind of stuff, you're going to have literally hundreds of things that you need to fix. And you better have a Mac in your house, and you better be testing it beginning to end multiple times. Our game is 30 hours. If we just wanted to test it once on Mac, that is more than a work week, right? Because it's not, you can't just be like a machine testing like 8 hours a day or 7 hours a day or whatever. You're going to be, doing other stuff. You're going to be writing down bugs while you work and stuff. So, it's weeks just to test the thing is weeks. And then you're going to find hundreds of different issues. You're going to find, 24 hours into the game, you go to this one area and all of the shader that you used on the fog is all flickery for whatever reason. And then you're going to need to go in and debug that. You're going to need to figure out what's going on with the shader. You need to rewrite the shader. You're going to need to version off the shader so that it draws differently based on the graphics API, if it's using OpenGL, if it's using Vulkan, or if it's using DirectX or whatever. You're going to have so many issues. I guarantee it. I've done it. I've done it before. I've lived it. And Leaving Lindau was like a 40-minute game, and it still was there's so many things to fix on it. I mean, we had one issue where this Leaving Lindau, to save the game, it writes a JSON file, and it would write a JSON file. Apparently, the way that the decimals are written is different per platform. So I think it was like Mac uses a comma instead of a dot or something like that. When it writes a float and when it serializes it into JSON, now when it parses it back, it's like there was some discrepancy there, like just stuff like that you can't even foresee. I'm sure some coder out there could have foreseen it, but I didn't. Okay, I've been gabbing. All right, I should export, right? I think we're done with this. That looks pretty good. I'm pleased with that. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Cool. Okay, let's export that. I could have been exporting while I've been gabbing, but instead I chose to not. Warbus says, do not recommend trying to port Linux. Support burn more money than sells. Yep, for sure. It would be so much better to all that time you spend supporting the Linux build. It would be so much better to support the Windows build. If you fix 20 bugs on Linux, if you fix 100 bugs on Linux, that is 20 bugs too many. You should have been fixing bugs on Windows instead. Even if you want to say that you don't care about personal joy, you don't care about money, if all you cared about was pleasing people, you would please more people by not supporting Linux and just continuing to work on the Windows build, because there are so many more people playing the Windows build. So if you're just trying to please people, definitely don't support Linux. Support Windows, where there's 100 times as many people that are going to be running into those bugs and things. So even a single bug that you fix for Linux is a bug too many, in my opinion. It sucks, but it's just the situation, unfortunately. If you're like a ideologue and you think that in order for Linux to take off, we need to all support Linux, that is beautiful, and you are way stronger than me, and you're far more selfless than me. But I feel like I'm gonna die any day now. I mean, I feel like my life is going fast, so fast. I'm 35 already, and we haven't even finished our second big game. We've only made 2 games, one really little game and one reasonably big game, and now we're hopefully going to finish our second big game here. And man, I'm 35 already. I feel like my days are numbered. Warbus says, not enough players on Linux. Most players play on mobile or Windows or consoles. It's so true. Oh man, it's really sad how fast life goes. I mean, I do try to remember, I didn't feel super young when I was 25. I didn't feel like the world was ahead of me. And now I'm 35, and the thing I always think about was, like, right now, I kind of wish that I enjoyed being 25 more. And now I know that when I'm 45, I'm going to feel that way about being 35. So I'm going to try to seize the day. And this is part of why I would never support Linux, because I want to fill my life with things I really like doing. And I want to, you know, I want to be thankful and grateful for my able body and being 35, and I'm balding, but my hair's not all gone yet. And, you know, things are good. Life is good. So I want to cherish every day that I'm 35 and that I'm 36 and that I'm 37. Because when I'm 55, I'll wish I was 45. And, you know, at some point, I'm sure I will look back on 35 as being a completely, perfectly youthful spring chicken with my whole life ahead of me. So I'm going to try to keep that energy. I'm going to try to keep that 65-year-old energy right now as a 35-year-old. I'm going to pretend that I've already been 65 and that I got to teleport back to when I was 35. And I'm going to try to be that happy, if that makes sense. I recommend everyone who's very young to do the same. Game dev is time consuming. Yeah, and I can't imagine, I don't know how people make games in like 2 years or whatever. I don't know how to do it. If we hired a bunch of people, would we actually be able to make games that much faster? I don't know. I don't know if we would run into like design bottlenecks or whatever. It's hard to imagine hiring. I don't know. It's really hard to keep your team balanced, because if we added another coder, I think we'd have an art bottleneck. If we added a couple artists and another coder, we might even have a design bottleneck. Plus, very crucially, I can't move to 100% design. I'm way too valuable as an artist. I don't think that you can even hire an artist like me, like, because nobody else can hire me. And so I don't think that I'm not going to go, you know, look for an artist that can do what I do for like 100 grand a year or even 150 grand a year or whatever. I just don't think they exist. So, you know, same with Jacqueline. If she were to go 100% design, you know, we would lose a significant, you know, all the other things she does. So it's hard. It's hard to just add people and keep your team balanced and make sure you don't have any bottlenecks, whether it's a design bottleneck or an art bottleneck or a coding bottleneck. All right, here we go. We're importing this. Mythic Silence says, sometimes I worry my best days are behind me. Well, hopefully not. But I worry about that too. I thought that after my son was born, I thought, wow, I'm never going to work as hard as I worked in my 20s. That's just gone. That's just never going to happen. And that turned out not to be true, because I'm currently working harder than I've ever worked in my entire life. And we have a lot of childcare support right now. So I'm even able to focus pretty hard. And so, you know, you might be surprised that seasons change. Okay, let's get on the broom. All right, here we go. So let's fly down. Okay, I feel like it didn't actually come in because yeah, we got some weird stuff going on. Is that really? That's not what we animated, right? Huh. Maybe we need to recompile here. Let's try recompiling Game Manager. Warbus says, this is what corporations can't understand. You can't just replace people with a new one. Even if you work in safe realism, the style and the art will be different. Definitely. It'll all be different. To Elfer, hello, welcome. Let me recompile. I'm just going to recompile, and that will force a domain reload. And I'm thinking that that will perhaps make our animation update, because it doesn't look like the animation update. So I just deleted an empty line and then saved just to force Unity to recompile. I wonder if it'd be fun to do like a little particle, some kind of particle pass on the broom. Let's see if it reloaded here. Okay. And oops. Yeah, there we go. Now the front view is flapping. It's still a little bit too high frequency. That one looks a little weird. The 3/4 one looks a little weird. I'm pretty sure Jacqueline would want the front view to be less spazzy. I can see her point. The hypothetical Jacqueline that I have in my mind, she's giving me feedback right now, and I can see her point. Blue says, will this be playable on Switch consoles at some point? So we have not announced what consoles we'll be supporting. But it would be pretty stupid if we didn't try to get on Switch. So I'll just leave that leave that comment. You can interpret it how you want. We won't be launching with console support though. We just don't have we don't have the ponies for that, and the iteration, the ability to patch is so handcuffing on consoles. Like we can't do rapid patches on consoles. It's very difficult and very expensive. So we're going to launch on PC first and make sure the game is really solid. You know, we're probably going to do a couple months of updates at least, and then hopefully then launch on consoles. Though there'll be a little bit of a delay there. Oh my God, I can't even imagine trying to contact a company right now to get started on the consoles. It would just be like pulling us in so many different directions. I feel like we would have no chance of getting this game out on time. Just be so divided. Our attention, I mean. Let me put this more in the middle, and so that looks pretty good. And I do want to take these and oops, try to control select or something. There we go. And it seems like, gosh, it's already so low frequency, right? It looks so slow. But in the game, it looks so fast. It's so crazy. So I guess I'll delete another 2. I mean, this is such a slow flappage. I mean, look at that. All right, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to make it at least a little bit more intense, if not so flappy. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side, just making it a little bit more intense, and then it goes in. And I think we're already as far in as we can get. So let's see. All right. Okay, so that we'll roll with that. And then it looks really tame, but it looked absolutely bananas in the game. So we'll just trust how it looks in the game, because that's how players will see it. Now, the broom riding animation here looked really good, but the broom riding diagonal looked like trash because I forgot to copy the keyframes over. So I'm going to grab all of these skirt bones. I'm going to grab all of those keyframes, Control C, And then I'm going to go over to our Broom writing diag. I'm going to delete all the keyframes, and I'm going to paste the ones from the other animation. And then we should have the exact same animation there. Okay. And I think that's all we need to do. I'm going to go ahead and export. And then we have to wait a little bit. Okay. Thank you, Werbus. Oh, it looks good about the animation. And Blue says, I'm hoping for a Switch at some point. Yeah, I can play then. All right, rock on. Thank you for your support. Agio Studio says, for me, I plan to only make games for PC since I know that PC is where I see the most used since console is less common among users and mobile is another. I don't plan to make any games for it. Yeah, mobile is a completely different market. I feel like, of course, mobile games are games, but to me, they're fundamentally different industry and different product than like premium games. They just have nothing to do with each other. Like the mindset is different. The target audience is different. Not only is the target audience different, but what they want out of it is different. What the product means to them is completely different. So they just have nothing to do with each other. I think it's completely insane to try to make games for both mobile and premium at the same time. They're just different things. People who want premium games are passionate about games. They go and seek them out. They're really interested. It's like an identity for them. Like there's someone who plays games, right? They're a gamer, and the games mean a lot to them. They make memories in these games. It's like high art to them. They interpret them as high art. They have experiences in the games that they remember forever. And mobile games are not like that. Mobile gamers are not seeking out the next big game that is going to move them in the same way. So they really have nothing to do with each other. Unfortunately, I think when mobile was first kind of started, I think that a lot of people in the games industry dreamed that it would be a cool platform for, for new kinds of games. Like we had cool games like Monument Valley and stuff. So I remember, I think it was called Sword and Sorcery. It was a cool mobile game that had like actual tone and stuff. But that's just gone now. It's completely taken over by a different animal. Werbus says, do on Windows and after a year, check if they are demanding for Switch or consoles. If yes, then hire a studio and do the whole porting. Yeah, we're definitely going to hire a studio to do the whole porting. And hopefully we're going to do that sooner than a year. Hopefully it won't take a year. Hopefully it'll be out by, within a year of launch, or even it'd be really cool, like within 6 months of the PC release, if we could get it out on the consoles as well, would be great. It's not a promise though. It's not an announcement. But that would be cool. Gary Dean says phone games are for the toilet. Exactly. I didn't want to say it, but you took the words right out of my mind there. Orbus says for mobile you need different games. Definitely. Big long games are better if you sit with free head and immerse, not just click daily in the bus. Exactly. King of Dragon Pass, that was on mobile. Let me check that one out. I like to look at this alternate history where mobile games could have been cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, see, I can tell already. It looks like it's an RPG. You can get sucked into this. That's cool. Very cool. Okay, RB Robs, hello and welcome, says, with Eastshade and now this game, you guys really like the fantasy medieval theme. Is this something that represents your studio or just what you like doing? If you ask Jacqueline, she'll tell you that Glimmerwick is actually not technically medieval. Technically, it is either current time or like not like different, just complete high fantasy. So in like a different world. But it certainly looks medieval because like people dress medieval and stuff, and you know the houses are old timey. There's a lot of things that look old timey about it. I would say we like medieval stuff. Yeah, I mean we certainly like old timey stuff. Like, yeah, we're kind of obsessed with old timey stuff. Whenever we go to, we've been to Europe a couple times, and we're just so enchanted by everything old timey and everything quaint and old doors and old walls and old cobblestones. And yeah, that's definitely our jam. I can't ever imagine us doing a sci-fi game or something like that. Definitely like quaint and storybooky and whimsical and old timey. Maybe steampunky. I could kind of picture us going, but still old timey, like Victorian era or something. Okay, let's see. Okay. Corator says it's a long form premium game on mobile. You'd love it. Oh, cool, cool. That's very cool. I love, you know, I love them for trying. Robust says artistic games are just better on screen, not on the phone. Yeah, it's true. Phones are small, right? Gary Dean said, I think if all these phones companies shipped with controllers, it would make it more plausible to actually play a game comfortably. It may have been something instead. You have to buy crap tons of add-ons. Yeah. I mean, you could also just buy a device that's actually, you know, you buy a Switch or buy a Steam Deck or something, and there you have it. You know, there you have more powerful GPU in it as well. So I can kind of see it. You know, things that are in your pockets that need to have really, really, really good cameras. I can see why that's their priority, and gaming devices are a different device. Old things are cool. Hell yeah, steampunk would be cool. Yeah, I really like Final Fantasy IX. It's one of my favorite games ever. Probably in my top 3. Okay, cool. So we've got that, and I don't even know if I'm gonna check it. I think I should just move on. The only thing is, I'll do a stream poll. Stream poll. I haven't done one of these in a while. See what people want. Oh, we have in Twitch, we can make polls. Sorry, Google, people on YouTube. How do you make a poll? Let's see. If you're on YouTube, you have to pop over to Twitch for a second to vote. The question is, what should we work on next? Should we work on Broom theatrics? Particles. Actually, I'm having a second guess. Effects and sounds. Yeah, okay. Do that. Or should we work on that interior I was talking about? So here we go. 1 minute. We'll go 2 minutes. We'll do a 2-minute poll. Okay, here we go. So there's the poll. Can you guys even see it? Results. Make sure the poll. Browser source URL. Oh, cool. We can do a browser source URL. I'll go pop that into the chat, and then the people on YouTube should be able to vote too. So I'm just asking people, what should we work on next? We could either work more on the Broom, just make it more theatrics. I want to do like a sound, like a whooshing sound, and maybe we'll try to think of some particles to spruce it up. Or should we work on that interior? So I posted that poll in the chat if you guys want to vote on that. Okay. Let's see. So we've got Broom theatrics winning so far. Thank you to everyone who voted so far. We're halfway through. Thank you, Coratora. Thank you, Agio Studios, for voting. Okay, looks like unless we have a late comeback here, it does look like Broom Theatrics is going to win. Okay, I'm not seeing votes come in, so if you're deliberating on the page, I apologize. I'm going to end the poll now. Thanks to everyone who voted. Okay, rock on. Here we go. Broom Theatrics. So let's first go to Eastshade. Why do we go to Eastshade? Because we should have some kind of whooshing noise that we used for the bike. Actually, maybe the zip line too has a whooshing noise, but it probably has some other noises mixed in. But we'll check out if there's anything of use to us. So we'll go to Eastshade and assets, audio, and just first I'll just literally look for whoosh. So here's audio, wind maybe. So there's wind, cliff wind. That's not going to be it. Although that actually might work for us as a source, as an audio, as like a a clip that we can work with. We'll try bicycle. Anything about bike? No, it's literally by. So there's the pedaling sound, there's the turning sound, there's the starting sound. What does that sound like? Oh, I hate how VLC takes so long to start up now. I don't know why. It's like it takes forever. Like look at this. It still has not loaded the sound. This is absolutely insane. This is unimaginable. It's been like 20 minutes. There it goes. Okay, so that's the start of the, I don't know if you guys could even hear that. Okay, none of those are gonna work. Okay, so let's see zip line. We got something on the zip line. Here's the zip line. Okay, so there's a lot of like some kind of wheel turning and stuff, so that's not gonna work. But I can clearly hear the wind sound. It's like kind of a higher pitched sound. I don't know if it's the cliff wind, but because I think the cliff wind is more, yeah, it's more of a low frequency. It's a bigger wind sound, and I think we want the more whooshy sound like that. We don't want like a, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna maybe try free sounds. I'll log in over here on this side. Okay. Let's see. Let's catch up with chat real quick. Cortor says, I started with Broom. I want to see it complete. Being ADD is my, okay, awesome. It's my day job. Pivot to a million tasks I should not be working on, but suddenly just really need. Very good. Good to be busy. Why is the patch delayed? No reason in particular. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's everyone on VLC. Yeah, I wonder what that is. Sounds like something mechanical. Yeah, for sure. We've got to take out that mechanical sound. So let's go with winds. Let's see if we can find like a more high-pitched wind sound. I also want to make sure that we do a Creative Commons 0 license, because I don't want to be crediting someone, dirtying our credits with some random sound. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's with like birds and stuff. Eerie? No. Winter wind mashup. No. No. That's a low one. We want like a... That one almost sounds like an ocean. God, I wonder what that source sound we used for the zipline was. Wind constant. Let's see. Maybe this one? Strong wind through a door crack? No. Some of these are kind of hard to hear. High winds? Okay, definitely not. Okay, well, the best one I heard so far is this one. So I'm going to download it to get us started. And I'm going to grab that other cliff wind sound as well. So we'll grab this. So it's in the downloads folder. I will go into our game folder. I'm pretty sure we have cliff wind in. Yeah, we do. It's we're using the same wind sound between Eastshade and Songs of Glimmerwick. We use a lot of the same sounds. I worked really hard on the sounds in Eastshade. So I just reused them for Glimmerwick. Or what? Oh, we already have Cliffwind. That's funny. Okay, now I'll just open Reaper. We might even combine them. So let's make a new project. And then we'll stick that one in there. We'll go ahead and normalize it. Oh my God, look at that. Why does it have 3 channels? That is weird. What kind of madness is this? That audio clip has 3 channels in it. That is bizarre. Okay, well, I guess we'll just sort of leave it. I mean, it's gonna be mono by the end here. Cliff_winds. Come on now. I see the repeats. Cliff_winds. There we go. Stick that in there. Okay, and the reason I want to get this one in here is I think if we maybe pitch shift it up, it might work. So first of all, let's hear. We want a nice constant sound because it has to loop. It's just going to turn up and down. So we don't want a lot of fluctuation in there. It needs to just be completely steady and constant. Thanks, Corator. I'm glad you like Eastshade Soundscape. I do use Reaper. You're also a fellow Reaper, James. So there's a lot of sweeping pitch shifting here. But if I just, if I just grab this one and maybe, I like how high pitched that is, but then we start to get into the lower area and I don't want that. So let me find another high pitched section. Then we get low again. So we'll take this. It's really a very sweet, it's like that sort of thing. Oh my goodness, okay. All right. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get away with this. I'm always thinking, oh, well, you know, 10 seconds is plenty long enough, but I'm always surprised at how long it needs to be. Certainly not 4 seconds. So we want this thing to sustain for a long time. So let me try to find just the high pitch parts. Now we're getting low again, so we'll delete that. Stick that in there. Okay. this part is pretty steady. There, I'll just grab that. And then I'll paste that in there. Just at least 10 seconds for this. Oh, it is a lot lower. I'm not liking where this is going, honestly, with this one. Let's try to just work on the other cliff winds. This has a lot more body to it. Like it has more frequencies. Like I'm certain if we looked at the spectrograph or whatever, it would show like just a much fuller range. Okay, I'm pretty confident we can get a good loop out of this. There, okay, here's where it sort of dies down. So we'll just take that, and what we can do is we can just cut it right in half, and then we put the first half at the end, and we put the second half at the beginning. And what that's gonna do is make a perfect loop. So if we grab both of these and say set region and then turn it on loop mode. See, we didn't even hear it restart. Actually, I did hear it restart. So why? Why did I hear it restart? Am I just tripping? Let me turn it up. Oh yeah, I was tripping. Okay, no, it's perfectly seamless. All right, so that's that. And now I want to just go, first of all, let's look at the, we'll do pitch first. So let me add a pitch shifter. And then after the pitch shifter, I'm going to add EQ. And I just want to do like a low or like a high pass here. I don't want like really boomy heavy frequencies in this. Yeah, it's in the kind of game that we have where everything is really far away. I just find that I don't like a lot of the boomy frequencies that sound really close to you. And then I also tend to roll off why am I giving like a sound design tutorial? You guys aren't here for sound design. Let's do a low pass. If there's anything weird up there, I can't imagine why wind sound would need sound in the 15,000 hertz range. So I'll just roll that off. Okay. Now with the pitch, I'm just gonna pitch shift it up a little. Okay, now it's sounding really weird, as you probably can hear. So don't want to go too far with that. Actually doesn't make that much difference whether I pitch shifted it or not. The formant shift is making more of a difference. Let's see what happens when I combine the two sounds. See, this one sounds like a car rolling by or something. This one is not good. It's too like smooth. It sounds like an ocean or a car or something. This one sounds a lot more in your face, which I think is what we want as we're whizzing by in a broom. I'm actually wondering if we literally like time stretch this to be just faster in general. So we time stretched it. I don't think I like the sound of that. The problem is it's just not that steady when I undo the time shifting. Like it's like kind of flapping a little bit, and I think we just need a very steady whooshing. Like I don't like how it kind of pulls off right here. What we could do is we could double up this track and then just move it to a different part And that is going to make it twice as full, and I'm hoping that makes it more even. I'm still hearing that weird little pull-off effect. I'm also maybe hearing some like, well, I don't know, like some flange kind of sound almost. I think we need to find a bigger section of the waveform. Here we go. There we go. Right there, there's a little drop off. Let's just move it. Okay, that's enough. That's enough, guys. It's gonna work fine. Let me just export this, and let's call this Broom Whoosh. Broom Whoosh, and the directory is going to go into Songs of Glimmerwick audio. We're gonna do just time selection, master mix. I'm gonna make a mono file. I think I want a mono file. I don't think this should be a stereo. Yep, we're doing .wave. Broom Whoosh. Let's do it. Okay, it's a very loud audio clip. Okay, let me catch up here. Catch up with chats. James says, love how easy it is to use compared to Logic and Pro Tools. I have not used either. Back when I was a kid, I used Cakewalk, which I don't even know if that's even a software still that is being supported. But yeah, I loved Reaper from the first moment I used it. Corator says, I don't touch sound, but that auto crossfade is pretty slick. Yeah, it's a very, very lovely program. James says, why don't you reverse some of the high pitch parts? That's an interesting idea, huh? Interesting. Colby House, hey, good to see you. Rock on, heck yeah. I hope you like it, Colby House. Colby House was one of the early ones to stream Eastshade on his channel, which I really appreciate. Did a lovely playthrough, a nice contemplative kind of player, which we always really appreciate and enjoy. Of course, it's the kind of game that Eastshade is, so. Werbus says, I think Magic Broom in this setting should work on humming. Could be. I'm thinking that just the sound of going fast is what we need to nail first. But yeah, we could do some kind of humming thing. That would be interesting. I don't exactly know what that would look like. But we'll start with the wind noise. You know, it's hard to do music in the environment. I don't think that if I did some kind of little melody or something, I'm not even sure people would connect that it is the broom. Also, consider this, Werbus. The soundtrack for Glimmerwick is one of the greatest soundtracks ever made. At least that's my opinion. And it is just a joy on the ears all the time. And there is so much music. Like there's like just an ungodly amount of tracks in Glimmerwick. The game is like 25 hours long, and I'm pretty sure our soundtrack is like longer than Skyrim. It's crazy. And the broom is supposed to be, we'd like for players to get it not too late. So we don't want the broom to be like this late game thing you get at the very end of the game. We want the broom to really help the player like halfway through the game. They get this massive speed boost that they've been working toward. They can buy a broom, and then they can start cleaning up their quests faster and just moving things along faster. They'll be really excited to get it. So I imagine the player is going to be riding the broom a lot, and you can just equip it really easily, and it'll just stay equipped. And I'm thinking you can even farm while you're riding the broom. Well, she'll get off, but it's like all instant. You don't have to do that. You don't have to click a button to get off or anything. You just click on a crop and she instantly gets off. I'll show you guys how it is right now. And if the broom is making its own music, we got to duck out the soundtrack. Unless it's going to play in the key of the soundtrack, which is obviously completely insane and extremely expensive because we have to know the key at any given moment of the soundtrack, and have versions of different. It's a nightmare. You can't do that. We have to duck out the soundtrack. You can't just have music playing over the top of other music. So that's another consideration. And the reason why I've already thought about all these downstream consequences is because we've already been through this, because we were thinking that the boat should have music. And in the end, we decided that the boat should not have music. It's music powered. You can see the little particles for the notes, but it doesn't have its own music. And that just felt better. It just did. And we could let the game soundtrack breathe because it's so freaking good. People just want to hear it. So those are my thoughts on that. Let's see. Yeah, a little duck in there somewhere. I was hearing it too, but we'll see. Cakewalk's still around. Interesting. How much does a broom cost? James wants to know. We have not decided on that yet, but we think it should be significant because right now there's a lot of ways to make money in the game, and I don't want to say there's not a lot of uses for money because that sounds a little strong, but I'm worried that there are not enough uses for money, and this would be something I think people would be excited to work toward when they're farming and stuff. Because there comes a point in the game when you are just rolling fat bank, like you are just making like thousands of gold petals a day, and we want to make sure that there is, some kind of thing that you can do with all of that. Gold petals. I also feel like money is the glue of the game right now. It glues a lot of different systems together. So we want the broom to be expensive, even though people are going to be annoyed. I always hear the voices of gamers in my head while we work. Like people are, oh gosh, it's so expensive. It's like, yeah, but like play the game. You're going to start rolling in fat cash in like 2 weeks from now. You're going to have a huge farm built up and you're going to be rolling like 3,000 gold petals a day or more, even like 10,000. I've seen Jacqueline make 10,000 gold petals in a single day. And even though the broom looks incredibly out of touch when you first see it, hopefully people just give it a freaking chance and keep playing the game because, it'd be so stupid if you could buy the broom for like 1,000 gold petals. Then we're going to hear everyone complaining about, there's nothing to do with all my money. So we have to think about that. And we have to hear, and by we, I mean I have to hear all the voices of players in my head complaining about things that they do not fully understand the downstream consequences of. It's hard, man. It's hard to make a game. You can't please everyone. Actually, it doesn't bother me that we can't please everyone. It bothers me that people think that we haven't thought about this. For some reason, I don't know if it's my ego or something, but it bothers me when people think like, oh, they missed this. It's like, no, we've put more thought into this than you have put into maybe anything ever. That's an exaggeration. That's cruel. It's probably not true. But it just feels like, no, we've thought about this so hard, our brains are fried. And we've iterated on this so much. And this is what we've come up with. Nonetheless, we need player feedback. Even if it comes with all those little daggers. Okay, let me catch up. Yakking. Shut up. Get to work. Stop yakking. Nobody wants to hear you talk. Wind noise will not mess with the music, I guarantee you. We have put many a wind noise in the game. It's not tonal, so it's all right. Glad you flood the player with cash, but you need a massive sink. Yeah. You got to have something that you're excited to have all the cash, right? I see you do not pay tuition in the school, so the economy falls apart. Well, you have to pay for your seeds, but I will make no claims about how good the economy is because Glimmerwick, I wouldn't say balance was our top priority. We might have to do a balancing pass. I tried my best. I've got my spreadsheets and I've done some calculations. This is not Jacqueline's domain of design. So I did my best. It's not really my domain of design either, but hopefully it works. New dye colors, that could be cool. Although we have put in no way to change the colors of clothes. If it's expensive, it makes you use my brain to try to get it early. Yeah, there you go. Economies are hard. Players will always cry if they have to work, if the work is not fun. Yeah, you know, sometimes they cry even if the work is fun. Some people are just going to cry no matter what. So it's hard. It's hard. It's a hard thing, but we'll see. Warbus says, I think Witchbrook game, this pixel art thing will be about getting money for tuition as main goal. Interesting. Where did you hear that, Warbus? Okay, so the player needs a audio source. I'll just say like Broom. 3D objects. It's not a 3D object. Imbecile. It's a audio thing. It's an audio source. It is an audio clip. It is a Broom whoosh. And the output is going to be FX. Put it right to FX. And the volume is going to be quite low. I'm thinking like 0.2. Oh, you know what? Okay, well, we'll see about that. Do we want it to be a 3D sound? Can't really think of a reason why it should be a 3D sound. It's going to be attached to the player at all times, so I think we don't need it to be 3D Broom sounds. So I don't think the 3D sound settings matter. The reverb zone mix, I guess, can be 1. Play on awake and it loops. And I'm pretty sure that's all we need to do. Now we need to actually control this thing. So I guess the spine skeleton controller is the thing that we would use. I don't think we have any other way to control it. We do have a bool for is brooming. I actually think it might be better to put a component on the audio source. I don't actually want the spine skeleton controller to be messing with audio stuff at all. So I'll just create a new class inside of scripts. We'll call it like Broom sound. Broom sounds. Okay, let me catch up. Just vids on YouTube. I didn't even know they had any videos on YouTube. Do they? Does Witchbrook have videos on YouTube? Witchbrook should be interesting because you will share player base with it, and one game will generate appetite for the other. Hopefully. Actually, we were just talking about that in the Glimmerwick Discord. Someone was asking if I think that Glimmerwick will, or if like Witchbrook will sort of increase Glimmerwick's, I guess like fan base. And what I said in the Discord is I don't know, and that we didn't plan on. We're probably going to be shipping at the same time. Unfortunately, that's what I think will happen. To me, it sucks, but we didn't plan it, but we can't keep going. We have to ship. I'm sure they have to ship too at some point. And I don't think that Glimmerwick or I don't think that Witchbrook is going to ship in 2027. I think it is going to ship in 2026 because they said it will, and I can just picture them. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, we don't hear anything from them." That's probably because they're working their asses off, would be my guess. The more you hear from a developer, the less they're working on the game. Like, people do not understand that. People think that seeing is believing, and if they're not hearing like development updates and stuff, then that means the game's not being worked on. People actually asked, you know, I had gone so long without a dev blog or a devlog, and people were asking, is this game still in development? Which is just, from my perspective, is so insane because we're just up to our eyeballs in it and we're just working our asses off on it. And it's like the less we talk, the more we're working, the more we talk, the less we're working, sort of thing. I mean, we're still working, but like we're working on talking, you know, it takes effort. Like it takes effort to make a devlog. It takes effort to write a blog post and stuff. So I'm sure they're just waiting. They're just gonna drop their release date and in like a month, okay, a month from now we're gonna ship, sort of thing. I'm sure that that's what's gonna happen, and I'm sure that it's gonna be similar to when we're gonna ship. Do I think it's gonna help us? I don't think it's gonna help us. I think that there's a 50% chance that it will hurt us. I think that there's a 40% chance that it will not matter at all, that it won't, they don't affect our sales at all. And maybe a 10% chance that it will help our sales. I just can't really imagine it helping our sales. I think there already is a tremendous appetite for Witch Academy games. I know that tons of people in the Witchbrook community are talking about Glimmerwick, like tons. Like if you go to their subreddit right now, there's like multiple threads about Glimmerwick. There's people talking about Glimmerwick even in threads unrelated to Glimmerwick. But I think that that's because of people want a Witch Academy game. It's not that Witchbrook is feeding the demand for Glimmerwick. It's just that everyone wants a Witch Academy game, and Witchbrook happens to be one, and Glimmerwick happens to be one. So naturally, our communities are going to be talking about the other. We have 145,000 wish lists. That's how many wish lists Glimmerwick has. Witchbrook currently sits, according to Gamealytics, at 1.6 million wish lists. I estimate that we will have 200,000 wish lists by the time we launch. I estimate that they will have 2 million wish lists by the time that they launch. So, their hoopla outmatches us by about a factor of about 10. So they don't give a shit what we do. We're nothing to them. We're a fly. That doesn't mean I think that our game will be nothing compared to theirs. I hope that it won't be. I read one comment that said, this will be good to tide us over until Witchbrook. I read that comment years ago, and it really pissed me off to read that, and it still pisses me off to this day. I think about it, and it makes me really mad, because I don't feel like that about our game. And I don't feel like we're we're not Witchbrook light. So hopefully our games will be very different, and hopefully everyone will love them both, and hopefully people will buy them both. Okay, let me catch up with chat. I've been yakking nonstop. Let's see. Cortor says brainstorming big sinks would be fun. Someone breaks their leg. Wait, wishing well. Oh, like big money sinks. That's cool. Yeah, these are cool ideas. Dragon statue would like a dragon's horde. That's so funny. That's awesome. Those are really cool. Yeah, those are cool ideas. Witchbrook is delayed. I thought it's delayed since they said 2026. Is it delayed since then? Yeah, Cortor, is this a dead game? Yeah, that's what people ask. James said only heard of Witchbrook because of Glimmerwick. Oh, now that I like the sound of that. No way. That is what I like to hear. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy when you think a game is so big, but the world is so big. And no matter how big a game is, it's not that big in terms of the world. Like there are people who have never heard of Call of Duty. Like I guarantee you, there are probably even people who play video games who have never heard of Call of Duty. It's hard to wrap your mind around, but like almost nobody has heard of Witchbrook, which is crazy. Like from our perspective, probably almost everyone in this chat has heard of Witchbrook. But if you look at the greater video game cosmos, almost no one has heard of Witchbrook, and virtually nobody has heard of Glimmerwick. Like we are nothing. We have 145,000 wish lists, and we are a speck on a speck on a speck. And it's crazy how much money there is in the video games industry, and how many people buy games, and how many people play games. It is crazy. Tora loved to hear it. Legit just opened Witchbrook for the first time because of this stream. No way. That's crazy. Warbus says cozy gamers are more synergistic. They do not compete with each other. Yeah, because it's not really winner take all, is it? It's not like a massive, like a, what are those things called? The Fortnites and stuff. The battle royale. It's not a battle royale, where all of you and your entire friend group wants to play one game. It's not like that. There's content, you know, it's to be consumed. Although Witchbrook is multiplayer, so that sucks a lot of the air out of the room, more so than a single player game. But yeah, I do think that's generally true. Cozy games are more content oriented, and I think that there's room for players to play multiple of them more so than some other genres anyway. James says, just looked it up. Your art style is 50 times better. I will not comment on that, but thank you for the kind words. Colby House says, I've got my friend trying out the demo on Twitch right now. Heck yes. Lovely. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to write some computer code. I'm going to link to the audio source. Nope. Ooh, yes. So we'll just say source, and then I'll link to the spine skeleton controller. Scale controller. And when we start, we will get the volume. We'll just cache the volume. So like, we'll just say like target volume, and we'll just default it to 0.2. And when we start, we'll just get the source dot volume, target volume equals the source volume. That's just so that whatever we set the volume to in the source, it will actually have an impact on how loud it is, in case I forget that there's this component that actually controls it. And when we update, we will, I do think we have to pull here, which shouldn't be too bad. So I'll just say float t equals, and then we'll do this condition. I'm going to do the, what is it called? The ternary operator here. Scale controller dot is brooming. And if we are brooming, then the t is equal to the target volume. And if we're not brooming, then we're going to 0. Okay, what's the issue here? Scale controller. Namespace cannot be found. What the heck? What are you talking about? Scale control. It's not a type. What did I do? Scale controller. What's wrong? Why don't you like that? Did I spell it wrong? No. What? What's going on? I think I've done something wrong. Oh, I think I forgot a question mark. There we go. Okay, I forgot the little question mark notation for the ternary operator. Okay, so that's the target. And then we're just going to always be lerping to that target. So the source dot volume equals just a straight lerp between the current volume, which is source dot volume, and the target volume. And we're going to lerp it by time dot delta time times, I will actually put a value in here. Public float, I'll just call it like the lerp speed. And by default, it'll just equal 5. Because I have no idea what will sound good. Actually, it's not if you're brooming though. It's there's one more factor to it. It's also how fast you're going. So we also need the velocity, which I don't actually know if the scale controller has access to. Move direction vector. I have no frame of reference for what this value is going to be. So the T, I guess, should always be scaled by the move direction vector dot magnitude. I guess we'll go square magnitude. And we're probably going to have to mess with that. So I guess we're going to do public float like volume, or like speed scale. I have absolutely no idea. Okay, go like that. And if it's 0, it's just going to multiply it by 0, so who cares? It's fine. Okay. Orbus says, gacha games just try to steal each other's players and fight for being exclusive. People need to restrict themselves to play only 1 or 2. I don't even know anything about gacha games. For Windows games, it makes less predatory markets. And for cozy games, they usually buy any cozy game that will show up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The water is not oversaturated. Yeah. Just being games without violence is such a rare niche. Makes you stand up just by existing. I agree. I agree with that. I think there's a lot of really rare things about Eastshade Studios games, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy that so many people who've played Glimmerwick are talking about Eastshade. Like, there are so many people who've gone and bought Eastshade because they played the Glimmerwick demo. And there are so many people who loved Eastshade who played the Glimmerwick demo and are like, oh my God, I'm back home. Like, this feels like Eastshade. We've heard that so many times. Like, the soul of Glimmerwick is so Eastshadian. And I'm so happy that came through, because like I feel like that too. I feel like the sort of Elder Scrolls-y quest-oriented nature of our games and the tone of our games and the sense of place of our games is very... there's just not a lot of studios. I don't want to sound like I'm tooting our own horn, so I'm going to say this carefully. There's not a lot of studios with those particular design pillars, which means there's not a lot of studios trying to do that. And I'm so happy that people feel that like this Eastshade Studio soul, even though the art style is different and all that, I'm so happy that people feel like that. It makes me so happy. I was hoping that people would feel like that. And it's so cool to see people playing Eastshade now who would have never normally played Eastshade, because maybe the art style wasn't for them. But they played Glimmerwick and they were like, oh my God, I love the feeling of being in this place. And then people are like, go play Eastshade. And then they go play Eastshade and they're like, this is awesome. Like, I love this feeling too. So I'm just really happy about that. Corator says, +1 for non-violence and all the design that decision entails. Heck yeah. Thank you so much, James. You're too kind. You're too kind. Corator says 2 away. Oh boy. Try not to. I'm pretty arrogant, but I try at least not to look arrogant some of the time. Okay, so I need to add the Broom sound. We need to add that component, Broom sound. And then we need to hook up the audio source, and we need to hook up the player skeleton controller. And let's see how that sounds. I hope so. I hope that people really like the pillars. I was a little worried because for Eastshade, there's a lot of people who, actually, I don't even know if it's a lot, but there are a number of people who have, mentioned that Glimmerwick's not their cup of tea, because the thing that they liked about Eastshade was not the thing they liked about Eastshade were not the things that I liked about Eastshade. Because if the things that you liked about Eastshade are the same things that I liked about Eastshade, then you'll also like Glimmerwick. But I think for a lot of people, and this is just, comes with making a game, people like it for all different reasons. And those reasons are not necessarily the same reasons that I liked the game. And so they're not interested in Glimmerwick at all. So I'm very looking forward to cultivating a fan base that likes the same things that we like, and that thinks that our games are special for the same reasons that we think they're special. That would just be really cool. Okay, so oh, the audio's muted. There we go. Okay, that worked like pretty flawlessly from the get-go. There's some settings to tune, like it seems like the lerp speed is a little fast. Oh, also the volume is going really loud because the volume is being scaled by that factor. So my math is a little bit wrong here. Here, let's fix the math first before we make any adjusting. I'm trying to think of how the math would be right. It's almost like we need this number. I don't know what kind of range this number is one of the problems. I guess actually it might make more sense to mess around with the speed scale until we're getting something like 0.2, since I have just no idea what that range of that number is. Okay, so let's go back into play mode. I lied. We are gonna mess with this before we mess with the math. 1 second, folks. Gotcha, Warbus. Yeah, that's a big problem with FPS in general. The camera sickness is a problem. Happy to be working on a game that is not an FPS for that reason. Okay, so let's change this value down to 1. Okay, of course that's going to go lerp up to 1. Oh, you know what? I bet the controls... Yeah, I'm pretty sure the controls... we're basically getting the move direction vector, which is probably a 0-1 range. It's probably on or off. I doubt that there's a middle range. But this works fine. We might want to make it higher pitch. Fortunately, we can change the pitch right here. Oh yeah. Wow, I actually like the way that Unity changes. I like the sound of the pitch shift. Better than what we had in Reaper. Okay, we can change. I don't know if you guys are hearing this that well, but I think it sounds pretty good. I think it's a little loud. Let's turn down the lerp speed to like 2. Let's see how. Yeah, then when you do little micro stutters like this, you barely hear it. It's only once you get going that you really hear it. It does need to be a little snappier though for when we stop. So let's actually up it to 3. And then what happens if I take the pitch even higher? Surprising how crazy we can change this. And it still kind of works. And I will turn it down. It's a little heavy-handed right now. Oh, I wanted to show you guys how it works, like with when you harvest something. She just gets off for a sec. One weird thing though is that the broom breaks in half, and I don't know if that's gonna be all right. It's like the broom breaks in half when when she picks it up. She also doesn't hover on the water, which I'm sure some people think is dumb. Yeah, I think that's a little bit weird that the broom breaks in half. So we're gonna have to call it like a foldable broom or something. I'm really pleased with that though. Now we just need to turn it down. And I think it'll work great. Just turn it down a little bit. It should be quite quiet. Like people are like, have to do a double take. Like, oh, is the broom making sound? Shouldn't be so in your face. So we changed the settings. I think it was like 3 here and 1 here. And then the pitch was changed to 2. And the volume, let's do like 0.14. Let's try those settings. And then we're going to go ahead and save it. Yeah, it definitely should. But it's just a question of if we can spend time on that. I don't know. Things are getting a little crunchy up in here, so we have to ship with shame. At least get to ship with shame level first and then work on it. But we want ideally everything in the game. I mean, there are many things in the game that are well beyond ship with shame level, but we want everything in the game to be ship with shame level, which basically means what is the minimum possible thing that we could ship this with? Like, what is the minimum quality that we could ship this particular quest or this particular feature with? And then you start, moving up from there. But that way you kind of have a fail safe where you don't have a situation where you put in, let's say you have 5 things left to do before you ship the game in terms of features and major quests, where you've done 3 of them and you're missing 2 of them and the release date is approaching. And now what are you going to do? Especially if you've designed the game to include them, like they have to be there. You can't just cut them because there's too many tendrils attached to them now. So we're trying to get everything up to ship with shame level. Still a little loud. Okay. Very nice. I like that whooshing. It's great. Coratora. Yeah, a nicer word is minimum viable product. I learned ship with shame back when I worked at ArenaNet. I don't know. It seems to be a common word, at least in AAA. People say ship with shame. Yeah, MVP is definitely nicer. I don't know why we're so negative. I will take the sound. I will take the volume of that down just a little lower. I hated that when you're pushing up against a wall, the broom is still making a sound. Even though she's not technically moving. So I don't really know what to do about that. I guess let me look at in the spine skeleton controller, let me look at the velocity that we're using to determine if she should be running or not. Okay. It's character controller velocity. So let's look at character controller velocity. I think that'll be a better one. Here's the last move direction vector. Let's find other velocities. So it's here's agent velocity. Oh boy. Yeah, so we need to tie this to like, it's not move direction vector. It should be the velocity of the character controller. Spline graphics velocity. And here we're actually getting that value. So if this one was readable, and it's not, because of course it's not. I would like that though. So just don't know. I guess we would have to do this code. Agent mode, we got to do all this code again. So we need access to this. Oh, here's a speed. Is that public? Come on. Come on. You know you want to make it public. No, it's not. It's not. Could we do like read only? Speed is the velocity. Is this, first of all, is this actually inside the update block? Is it inside or outside? I can't tell. It is inside. Gosh dang it. We seriously have no way to get the velocity. It's really silly. Well, I don't know what to do about this. I want to expose it, but I don't want to like... Okay, I'll put it in here. Oops, let's check out this file. I will do a private float. No, I'll do a private vector3 called v. And we'll initialize it to vector3.0. And this is for the Broom. The Broom audio. Just so we know why this is here. And then I'm going to do a public vector3 called get velocity. And it will only have a get in it. It won't have a set. And it will just return the v dot magnitude. Can I do square magnitude? Okay, this should be a float. Who cares? One more square root operation, whatever. So we will use that. And then the only other thing is that we want this v to be written to. I'm going to call it something weird. Because I don't want other people to use it for stuff. I'll call it like VB. Okay. And now we'll go to the velocity down here where we're setting this. So here we already have, we got agent velocity. We should, here's where we're setting this. So, oh, and we even have a speed. We already have a magnitude check here. So really what we should be doing is we should be going VB equals speed. That would be the fastest way to do this. And of course it's going to throw an error right now because VB is a vector3. Let's just make it a float. And we'll initialize it to 0. And then we'll just straight up return VB. No magnitude check. One tiny mathematical operation spared. Okay, and then we're going to go to Broom sound, and instead of multiplying by the move direction vector, we do the get velocity. Okay, I think that's fine. This looks like a function. That's stupid. That's just stupid. That's just a stupid way to do it. Why don't I just make a function? Does it matter? Not really. I'll just not make an accessor. I don't even know what the difference would be here, but whatever. It looks like a function, so just make it a function. Okay. Oh, okay, let me catch up with chat, not too much activity. Cortor says, I love the musical note diegetic prompt in the world and how the soundtrack kicks in on the transition. I'm trying to think of exactly what that is. The musical note diegetic prompt. I'm trying to think of what that is. Oh, referring to the bridge. Can you make trigger on move forward input? Yeah, so that's what I did before. But the problem is that when you're pressing up against a wall, it still made the whooshing sound. And that was, I don't want it to make the whooshing sound when you're trying to fly into the wall. Yeah, we worked really hard on that music transition trigger. It's really hard. It's been a lot of iterations on that. Okay, I'm imagining that the broom is going to be really loud. Yeah. Okay, but let's see if it actually solves our problem. Yes, it does, because it gets quieter when she's pushing against something. It's not so loud anymore. So now all we need to do is to go broom sound, and I'm pretty sure we just change the speed scale to like 0.1. It's kind of weird that the faster she goes, the louder this is if we ever change the speed, but it's going to be so much math to do it any other way, and I don't really think we're going to be changing the speed too much. And if we do, it'll just be like 10-20%. It's not going to be a huge deal. So, okay. We'll go like 0.08. Okay, I hope players like that. Feels pretty good to fly it. I think it feels pretty good. Okay, we need some kind of particles. What are we going to do about the particles? So that's done. I'm just going to exit out of this. I don't think we need anything else from this. I don't even save it. Oh, all these buttons. Let's exit out of this. We don't need that open. Don't need that open. Little dust clouds. You've got the dust clouds when you run. You could do dust clouds on when you fly the broom. James says, fly the broom by the lighthouse because the camera thing. I think it'll be okay. Yeah, we could do dust clouds. The problem is that with the dust clouds, and we already have them when she runs, but when you're flying on water, it's not going to make sense. And then we have to do a bunch of code to figure out if you're on top of water, and then you could do different particles. And I think that makes sense, like for the basic run. But for the broom, I'm gonna maybe make that a stretch goal. So right now I'm trying to think of a particle that would just look mad. We could just put some musical notes. That might look cool. Let me check our boats, ocean boats. And let's see the ocean boats. Crack that open. And inside we should have the music motor effects. I'm just going to copy that one. And oh, you know, I might just use this on our Broom sound. I'm gonna just paste it in here. Call this Broom effects. So these are just little musical notes, and we can just sort of adjust that. We'll just leave them on. Let me go into the Broom sound, and I will do like a set active. We'll do like a bool FX on, and it'll just have a set. And I'm gonna do a bool for like if the FX are on or not. I don't know. I just get wigged out with it like checking the game object every frame. So if the value is not the FX on, then we want to, well, we need to do a game object reference here. Game object, we'll do FX. Oh, what about the particles? We might actually not want to do a game object. We might want to do a particle system. And we might want to do this like if the value is the same as FX on, then just don't do anything. And if the value is true, then we want to do FX on dot start. No? Particle? Come on. Why can't... Oh, because it's a bool, you idiot. Are you stupid or something? What's wrong with you? God. FX dot start. Okay, here we go. Why don't we have a start? Don't... Gotta like what? Set the emission? We can't set the emission. Emit. How to start and stop. Because I don't really want them to just appear. Oh boy. Me how to start and stop particles from emitting. Why is this always so complicated? I always have to look it up every time. It's play and stop, and it's the particle system. Particle system.play. Particle system.stop. Is that what I'm looking for? fx.play. Okay, there we go. Phew. All right. Okay. Otherwise, we do fx.stop. I think that's what we want. And I guess we can just always leave it active. But now we just need to check every frame. I'll just go ahead and use the source volume. Well, is that a stupid idea? Is that a stupid idea? No, let's do this. At the end here, I'll just say like FX on equals is brooming, right? Equals scale controller dot is brooming. There we go. That way the particles will be emitting even when she's standing still, which makes sense because she's hovering. So I hope all that works. Okay. Play. Ah, yes. Lucky lamps. Thank you. Let me catch up here. Specs could be cool. Yeah, specs could definitely be cool. Francor Huevo, hello and welcome. I'm Argentinian. My level of English is 0. Well, my level of Argentinian is even worse than your level of English, but thank you for stopping by the chat. And by Argentinian, I do mean Spanish. I'm embarrassing myself really bad. Is it Spanish or Portuguese? What do Argentinians speak? Hurry, find out. It's Spanish, right? What does Argentina speak? Or is it Spanish and Portuguese? It's Spanish. Okay. I'm sure there are some Portuguese people there, but okay, 96% Spanish. It's definitely Spanish. Oh boy. Mnemotic, hello and welcome back. Okay. Rock on. All right, let's see if this works. So first of all, I'm going to attach the effects here. Let's call this like Broom music effects. And I will hook up our particle system. Oh, I already messed with the speed scale. I'm going to do 0.08. Let's go ahead and save that. Oh, I think my audio has been off this whole time. I think I missed every follow. Ah, fortunately, we haven't had any follows, so I haven't missed any. Thank you for hanging out, Werbus. I hope you sleep well. Good night. Mnemotic says, can't quite make out the window title. What version of Unity is this? This is 2019.4.4. Let's see if those particles work. Oh, I should not have. I need to make sure that they don't like start. Okay, so they haven't started, right? Yes. Cool. So I'm pretty sure now if I mount the broom, they don't work. Well, well, well. Why don't they work? Why? What did I do wrong? Broom effects. I did something wrong. How can I tell if they're playing or not? Let's check if are they in the right spot in the world. They definitely are in the right spot in the world. So that's not what we need. Mnemotic asks, I assume you haven't upgraded Unity since starting the project. I think that we have. I think we started on 2018. But yeah, typically only upgrade if you absolutely have to. And there's really nothing we need to upgrade for. I think we will have to upgrade to ship on consoles. Yeah, I know we've updated at least once. And we might have already upgraded to the LTS that we need to ship on consoles. So hopefully we're good to go. Can't remember. But right now I'm trying to figure out why. So first of all, let me look at the particles. Okay, so it loops. It doesn't pre-warm. The emission rate is 1. So if we just look at the particle right here, oh, well, let's play it. So it is definitely playing and it's making music and I see it. I see it in the world making music. I mean, it's kind of hard to see. Sometimes they float a little bit far from the source, but we should have seen something by now. There's play on awake. So it's when it starts, it's not played. So there's that. Does have emission rates. So I'm just wondering why we don't have velocity over lifetime. Just wondering why it doesn't work. Let's take a look at, first of all, I'm pretty sure we're done with this, so I can save that, exit out of that. Let's look at the code. If the value is the same, okay, so false. And then when that turns true, it's definitely going to hit this. We'll just make sure. We'll make sure here. We'll make sure it's actually playing the particles. Put a log in there. Okay, let's see. Just make sure that's actually happening. Francor Huevo says, context of the job working. I think you're asking about what game we're making. The game is called Songs of Glimmerwick. It's a Witch Academy RPG where the magic of the world is music. I put a link there in the chat if you want to check out the game that we're working on here. Okay. Turn a light on. And okay, so there's no music. That's good. Let's mount our broom. Broom. Okay, so it definitely is playing the particle. It's actually playing it every frame. But why? Oh, I know why. I know why we're playing every frame, because I never wrote the actual bool value to fx on equals value. You freaking idiot. You nincompoop. Absolutely unforgivable. You nightmare child. How dare you? Give up. Sell your computer on eBay. You're done. You're fired. Game over. All right. I hope that works. I hope it's just the fact that we were basically telling it to play every frame, and it was just starting over every frame, so we didn't see a single particle make it out of the emitter because we just kept pounding it every frame. But we'll see. And I'm hoping these little musical notes are all we need, all the zhuzhing we need for the moment. Yeah, there they are. They're a little bit big, I think, in this context. They're cool. I like them. They fill me with joy. Maybe a little bit bright, but maybe once they're smaller, it makes sense for a boat because the boat is a bit bigger. And look, we see the music surrounding us. It's a music-powered broom. That's pretty clear. Yeah, I think if we just make them a little smaller, they're going to be great. So let's check this. So we've got the start speed, the lifetime start size. We're going to have, I'm going to cut the size in half. Or maybe I'll make them a more consistent size, maybe. Somewhere between 0.05 and 0.1. That might be too small. Those guys are real small now. Maybe like between 0.8 and 0.12. And then the other one, yeah, there. Now they're too small. Clearly they're too small. How about between 0.15 and 0.2? And you between 0.15 and 0.2. We should have a few big ones. I think they're a little too small still. Actually, I kind of liked them bigger. Between 0.15 and 0.3. That seems all right. What if we had way more of them? What if we had like some emission over lifetime? So rate over distance, we already have a boost, but let's get a bigger boost. Let's just make these things go bananas when you start flying. Just make so many of them. I just want to see it go absolutely berserk. Put 10. Just gonna freaking block out the sun with musical notes here. Yeah, that looks awful. I mean, it looks cool just because having lots of particles looks cool. Let's try 2. I think that's probably still too many. Let's go back to 1. Fish and chips. People might be wondering why I just randomly said fish and chips. My dad had a joke he used to tell where a guy would get the same thing every day, and then finally the waiter convinced him to try something else, and he said, all right, I'll have scrambled eggs. And then the waiter was like, do you want them, or I'll have eggs. I ruined the joke. And the waiter said, do you want them scrambled or over easy? And he said, fish and chips. That's the joke. So it's a joke about going back to the same thing. In this case, 1. I think that looks pretty good. I don't know if we should use musical notes or sparkles or what. Let's go with musical notes. Okay, so it's 1, 1, and then it's 0.15 and 0.3. Slightly more transparent. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But I don't know. They're kind of sparkly and nice. I mean, they kind of like that little punch that they have because they're bright enough. I'm just going to roll with this. But I see what you mean, Cortor. I was thinking the same thing. Okay, so it's between 0.15 and 0.3. There we go. Control S. Mnemotic. I saw your recent video about how you've been working on this game for 7 years. Good luck. I hope it's a success. It looks well made. Thank you. Thank you. I think it is well made. I think that people are going to like it. I think people do like it. We have the demo out already, and we've gotten very, very good feedback. Yeah, people seem to be loving it. I'm just going to make sure, actually, when I get off the broom that the particles go away. I didn't check that. I think that the game is even better than the demo. Like, the last time I tested the game, I kind of knew where the demo cutoff was, and I was getting to the end of spring, and I was like, oh, I was so sucked in. Like, I have never even close to been that sucked in from one of our own games, ever. I've never even been that sucked in on a AAA game that I've been working on. I was just like completely immersed. I was having the time of my life. All I wanted to do, it was my job to play through the game. I could not wait to get back and play more of the game. I was just completely blown away. And by the end of spring, I was like probably 7 hours in. You know, I was like, oh man, like I think people are going to like the demo, but like they don't even know, because the quests, like I even feel pretty good about the quests in the demo. Like I think they're good quests, but the quests just get better and better. Like we have some banger quests in Glimmerwick, like just high adventure, just absolute freaking adventure, that I think people are gonna just be enchanted. I think they're gonna be enchanted. Okay, so here's what we got. Gosh, they look big again, but I'm just gonna trust that. No, look, 0.4. So somehow the changes didn't persist. I don't know. It's supposed to be between 0.15 and 0.3. But what I wanted to do was stop. So Broom 0. Okay. So now they just kind of linger around, which is exactly what I wanted. Excellent. Excellent. Coffee House says the time of day shadows are an amazing touch. I'm glad you like them. Yeah, they don't move. The sun stays in the same place in the sky. And best decision we ever made, because nobody notices, but the value changes, the brightness of the sun, and then it changes to night, and everything gets blue. Cortor says the demo cutoff is a great spot. Yeah, it definitely worked out. I think people are so excited to turn in their quests at that point. I think it works well as a demo, even though tons of people are telling us that we're cruel and that the demo's too short. They think they misunderstand the purpose of a demo. Because I don't feel bad. I don't, because I feel that 2 hours is already 99th percentile for demos on Steam. I feel we let you do everything that you'll be doing in the game. I feel that that is a perfect representation of the game. If you just imagine all the stuff you did in the demo, which is pick up quests and explore new areas, and you did a little bit of farming, not really that much farming, mostly questing, that is exactly what the game is. And it just keeps expanding and doing more and more of that. You pick up more quests, you do a little bit of more farming, you find new cool NPCs and learn new stories and meet more friends at campus and stuff. It's exactly what you do in the game. The demo is perfectly representative of the full game. Of course, other than the fact that you actually be able to turn in your quests and get your rewards and stuff. But I think it's a really good taste of the game. And it leaves you in a spot that hopefully the breadcrumbing. I mean, the thing is, it wouldn't matter where we stopped you. Like, I swear to God, especially that first like spring and summer, like I would say the first 10, 15 hours of the game are like crack. So, like, if we stopped you at 7 hours, people would be mad. They'd be like, I was just about to do the thing. How can you stop me right here? This is cruel. So I don't feel bad. We need to write that change. I don't know why this change got lost. It should be between 0.1 and 0.3. 0.1 and 0.3, 0.1 and 0.3. Perfect. And we were whizzing around on a broom and we checked that. We just wrote that change. Okay, Control S, we're good. Okay. James is over here. He's gotten 70 hours out of it. Not actually though, just testing. Testing is different. Cortor says 95th percentile for Steam demos. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, at a certain point, we're just like, if we gave people more, we're not, the whole point of the demo is to see if the game is for you. If you played that demo and got to the end and you're like, meh, the game's not for you. But if you play that demo and got to the end and be like, I absolutely need to play more, the game is for you. We're done. We're done here. Like we already know that you're going to like the game, because if you like that 2 hours, that's exactly what you do in the game. So you're just going to do more of that. So, you know, we figured it out. For us, the purpose of the demo is to hook people who like our kind of game. And for the consumers, the purpose of the demo is to see if you like our kind of game. So as long as, you know, we both, you know, we held up our end of the bargain, you got to see what kind of game it is, and, you know, you give us a chance at maybe hooking you, then we've both done our part. We're good to go. All right, I'm really pleased with that broom. The broom is done. The particles are done. It looks solid. It's ship with shame level. I wouldn't even be ashamed of that, really. The only thing really I'd be ashamed of is it breaking in half when you pick something up. We'll have to maybe work on that. And I'm sure there's something we can do. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what we could do about that. It's definitely a solvable problem for sure. But for now, that's ship with shame level, and I'm not even that ashamed. So let's main rig fixes and broom animation improvements. Broom sound pass FX save. And then we're going to put all that stuff in here, and I'm going to just refresh, and submit. Submit those changes. We're good to go. Sweet. Okay, let me catch up with chat. James says still finding new things. To be fair, a lot of those things are outside of the demo content, but I'm glad you think so. Mythic Silence says I've gotten more than 2 hours. All right, good stuff. And honestly, I'd be very pleased if our full game had 70 hours of content. So demos prevent refunds, which is nice. Yeah, exactly. First 2 hours are free, kid. There you go. Any recommendations on when to release your demo? Like how far out from launch? I am a Chris Sikowski absolutist. I think that Chris Sikowski is the only game in town. No, not the only. There's like Simon Carless and a couple others as well. Sorry, I don't mean to disrespect those folks. But really, Chris is one of the only people that is actually collecting data on this stuff. And I really don't believe in, you go with your gut for your own game, but I really, there are so many ways to do it. So I think that looking at actual data is the only thing that makes sense. And Chris seems to be of the opinion that you should release your demo early, significantly like before Next Fest. You want time to iterate. I guess that's not really a data thing, but it made a lot of sense to me, and I really agree with it. You also just have more time to percolate on Steam, more time to collect wish lists and stuff if you release your demo early, because it's really hard to collect wish lists until you have your demo up. The demos it's the new meta. It is the new way to get wish lists on Steam. So particularly if you don't already have a brand. We had a little bit of a brand going in, so we were able to get wish lists and we got some press and stuff. We actually went into our demo with 138,000 wish lists. That was how many we had when we released our demo. And since then, wait, it's 100? No, it's not 130, 128,000 wish lists, right? And since then, we've been getting thousands of wish lists a day ever since we released the demo. So even for us, we had a brand, we had press, we had IGN break our announcement. We still really cannot drive wish lists that well compared to how much we can drive wish lists now with a demo. So I think it makes sense to go significantly before your next fest, so that you have plenty of time to polish the demo and just make it as good as it can be by the time you hit Next Fest, which is your big break. And hopefully, you'll come into Next Fest strong with a really polished demo and enough wish lists to rank well on day one of Next Fest, and then you'll get even more wish lists. So that's kind of the current meta. Cortor says, I bought games that are not for me, and then refund request is swift. Gotcha. Mythic Science says, I appreciate the demo having any, or the game having any demo at all. I grew up on shareware, rock on. Yes, when the era of the demo is totally coming back, Mythic Silence. We are coming back, baby. Like, demos are back. Everyone is making demos now, and it is awesome. It's awesome for developers. It is awesome for players. It is just awesome all around. I know I've already talked about this on stream, but I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about demos coming back. I just love that the way to get a crap ton of wish lists is to blow people away with your demo. I freaking love the simplicity of that. You don't have to think of clever guerrilla marketing tactics. You don't have to try to get into some showcase. You don't have to butter up somebody at E3 or some freaking Jeff Keighley or whatever to break your game. You don't have to do any of that. You blow people away with your demo, and Steam's algorithm will pick it up and put it in front of people, and it'll blow those people away, and it'll spread like wildfire. I love that, man. Just make a banger demo. And turns out making a banger demo is just making a banger game, because it's pretty hard to make a great demo with a shitty game. So I really like the simplicity of it. Lucky Lamp says, been playing a lot of demos recently to see what's the standard at the moment, and Songs of Glimmerwick has been a standout. Love to hear it. Thank you so much. That brightens my day for sure. How far out from launch? This I don't know. Chris Sikowski says don't launch immediately after Next Fest. Everyone's kind of working at a different like scale, I personally don't think it would matter that much for us if we launched immediately after Next Fest. We're not really, we're not in the big boys. We're not a big boy, but we're not a little tiny boy either. Like we don't necessarily have to worry about games with like 10,000 wish lists or something. We're sort of in a different class to them. So for us, I don't think it matters so much. But I don't think that there's a golden time amount. People talk a lot about momentum. Let me tell you, we announced this game 4 years ago, and we had a lot of momentum when we announced we got 30,000 wish lists in a month, which is really good. And it didn't freaking matter. 4 years later, we just did our big demo push, and we got all the momentum back and more because people were really excited, and we had 4 years of wish lists under our belt. So I think momentum is kind of a lie, and I don't think you should worry too much about momentum. I mean, it's good to have a lot of things happening at once, like to time everything together in a big bang, but there are ways to do that without necessarily like doing all your big beats at once, like demo, then previews, then launch. You don't need to do all that really close together, I don't think, anyway. Anyhow, James says plan on speed running this. All right. Yeah. Korthor says glorious dark mode. The demo is really strong and erased all doubt. All right. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. I am so glad it erased all doubt for you. I wish I could say the same for me. It seems like doubt is always creeping in our mind as developers. We're always worried, but I guess it erased a little bit of doubt. People seem to really like it, so just deliver, more of what we already delivered, and hopefully people will enjoy it. Mnemonic says the strategy I think works well is releasing an early playtest of a web build on itch, etc., and then releasing a demo once you're close to first release. Definitely. That definitely works really well. It's kind of like you have tiers of playtesting. Like itch is a smaller pond, and then you take, that polished thing that you made and take it to the bigger pond, and then you get tempered by the bigger pond, and then you take it into an even bigger pond, which is actual release, because very few people on Steam actually play demos. It's kind of hard to believe, but Steam is just that big. Like we've had 25,000 people download our demo, and almost nobody plays demos on Steam. So that is just a tiny percentage of the potential for when we actually go 1.0. Mnemonic says, how many AAA games where we've had great first couple of hours and then everything goes downhill? Is that a thing? Do we have a lot of that happening? Or are you saying that doesn't happen? You saying that does happen or that doesn't happen? I'd have to translate that, whoever. Something about thank you. I know that. Korator, are you Vintage Story Devs? What is Vintage Story Devs? Is that a developer, or are you saying you've been working on the same game for 10 years? Oh no, that actually is a developer. Cool. 10 years is a long time. But yeah, momentum is definitely a myth. I mean, if you've got the goods, like, it's just so hard to make a good game. It is so hard to make a good game. You can trust that if you did it, that, people are going to find you by the time you launch. Plus, everything is a joke compared to release. It's like all this stuff that happens pre-launch is such a joke compared to 1.0. That is the moment. That is your big bang. And everything before that, it's just like little kindling, it doesn't really matter. So if your game is a banger, like Eastshade, we had no brand. We had no nothing. We had some good press articles, but we accumulated 28,000 wish lists. When we launched Eastshade, we had 28,000 wish lists. That is dog shit. That is really, like, I understand it'd be really good for some people, but it was not good for the amount of money that we spent on Eastshade. It was terrible. But it exploded. We had a Burkett ratio of 1.0, which means we had about 28,000 units sold in the first week, which is insane. And that's just because, the game, I think, was, again, I don't want to sound like an arrogant ass, but people liked it. And so, the Steam algorithm pushed it up, and it overperformed its wish lists. So the algorithm's going to find you. If you've got the goods, the algorithm, and when I say the algorithm, I really mean the audience. Like, people are going to find you. The algorithm just does what the audience wants. It's pawns all the way down. Yeah, exactly. It's just slightly larger pawns every time. I feel like it's something that happens quite a bit. Okay, interesting. I didn't know about the phenomenon. Hopefully we don't join the ranks of the AAA good first few hours and bad rest of the game. Don't think that's the case for us, but okay. All right. What time is it? How long have I been streaming? Well, we got the Broom done. That's cool. I've been streaming for 2 hours and 34 minutes. Okay, I think I'm going to call it. I want to go to bed really early tonight. So I think I'm going to call it, because if I keep going now, then who knows what's going to happen to my bedtime. So I want to thank everyone for hanging out. If you're new to the stream, please check out our game. It's called Songs of Glimmerwick, the Witch Academy RPG with the magic of the world's music. I'm sure you all know about it already. And I hope to see some of y'all in the next stream. But bye-bye for now. And thanks, everyone, for hanging out and chatting with me. Sorry I talk so much. But we got some stuff done. Got some stuff done between the chatting. So. All right. Rock on, Cortor. Good to see you. And see you later, James.